Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour. We have a really special episode here today with the director of an upcoming documentary about the one and only Tim Duncan. It's called The Boy from St. Croix, and the director is none other than his brother, Scott Duncan. Scott, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me on the show. Let me grab my coffee and everything's going to be great. Yeah, really excited about the film and, letting Timmy tell his story.
Man, absolutely, Scott. I've watched it twice over the weekend and had a chance to look at it. And I thought, one, just the amazing archival footage that you were able to pull from it. And two, um, yeah, I don't think I've heard your brother talk so much before. He's kind of been the most famous recluse and one of the best basketball players of all time. So, just to start off, kind of asking you some questions with this. So, first one, just why now for this documentary with Tim?
Well, thank you. And he is the one and only for sure. Um, it really, there was I'm a documentarian and a visual photographer, and just all my life since I was really young, I just always took pictures of things and stuff. So never planning this film, but just having always captured from his high school to just events, small things like body boarding together and just random good stuff. And I think, once Timmy, his intense life of 19 years at the Spurs for championships is like an intense life that us on the other side of the non-championship daily grind they're on, I let Timmy, take the time, enjoy life outside of that kind of schedule. And I think slowly I saw him even grow into a new Timmy that I was excited to see of him, outside of the basketball world. He started traveling with me around the world. So some of my projects and seeing things that I've been and things I've been doing, that always excited him. Um, and then, I just wanted him to have his own voice in Timmy's own words. That was, an idea of that, oh, this should be the name of the film. Timmy talks, or in Timmy's own voice, like letting him tell his story and when we started, it was a bit of an unstructured path I had of like, let's just talk about stuff that maybe a lot of topics we never talked about because it was not just close to family or emotional, but it was just sometimes you just like what you don't have a purpose to like, why should I talk about this with my, and we don't have drama in our family anywhere. So it was never something that, some things we just don't talk about or we didn't because it wasn't necessary. And we're always kind of like moving forward, do your best, go more places, do what you want to do, be confident, share. And it was just a time where in the early parts of the film with talking, it was the most like enjoyable because there was an idea for a film, but I was like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm gonna just have him talk and tell stories. That was my catalyst to step one.
Amazing. Yeah, I definitely got the sense of that. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about the documentary was you were very clear about, hey, I am a part of this. This is my brother, but you were never inserting yourself into the documentary. It was very much of like, let's have him tell his story. Let's have other people tell his story. One of the things that really fascinated me, though, in it is the allusions to y'all's relationship throughout it. And so, as someone who, as Tim says, lives across the street from him, how would you describe your relationship with your brother and the way that it's grown over the years, being a part of, so much of his life?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that, because putting myself in the film was, you know, um, a tough decision of what is my involvement. I've been there so much. I'm so close. Do I need to be the one saying things? No, I don't want to be an analyst even the parts of me in the film, not visually but verbally, it's like there's a few simple statements, and the simplicity of like an islander's life. It's very simple. That's how I wanted to like share a voice, but not try to like make anything about me or our relationship is absolutely incredible, and it's always been our whole life as well as everyone in our family. Um, but the decision to like how am I going to interject myself into it, I felt that again shared little bit of insight to how I was there. I did nothing to help him except support as a family member and a brother. We're all in charge of our own destiny, of our competitiveness we have, but we're all on our own as our own paths. Say, we will always support each other and do anything anybody would ask or help in the family. But it was a moment of I need to participate. I felt to show not so much behind the curtain I wanted to, but show again the authenticity of where did I get all this footage? What did I do? No, I was always there, but just in a simple, gentle way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, speaking of just kind of all four of the kids in the movie, I mean, you do a great job of highlighting, hey, Tim was not the only competitive person here. Tim is not the only ambitious person. We, as a collective, are ambitious. And I thought at the beginning of the film there was such a great focus on your parents, and especially that I like, bridging essentially between this island lifestyle with also this ambition, outside of the island. What are some things that you would say both of your parents kind of instilled in you as kids during that time?
I think not just parents, but I think island culture also. It's the large presence of an island culture, a small island. It's a very small community, and I think the strength of you're on a small island, you're on a dot, like they say, a speck. I think Bao says at the end there. Um, but always, everything is a bigger picture. Everything is go for it. Everything is go out and do your best. How far do you want to go? There's endless possibilities. There was never hand holding too much. It was always like, set us free, to do what we feel, make our own decisions. Um, and the strength of that, I think, comes from even island culture, parents, friends. Everyone has kind of the same kind of mantra motive. And then we just all took it and ran with it. I think even more about, being so comfortable in, um, not taking radical steps, taking it step by step, making the right decisions. But like our father says in the film, I think about, letting you grow up from afar. That was kind of the line of like, I trust you. Do what you know is respectful, your right decision, a path that feels right. It feels like such a vague answer of do what you feel is right. But as you see, so many decisions that Timmy had to where to go to college, like how the puzzles worked out to where he ended up, and he ended up with like Pop, like a second father, as he went through his career. These things are like they're about making the right decisions at the right time, but also being yourself still always. He didn't change when he came to San Antonio. Obviously, it was still his island roots and style of life.
Yeah, I kind of something that's making me think about is, just kind of the essence of community. It's not about it's about everybody supporting each other, but supporting who they are, not essentially like making sure everybody fits within this box, essentially as long as the box is not hurting other people, obviously. And I think that's kind of between talking about like island culture and then, to Tim going with the Spurs and that was very much, I think, kind of apparent as well in the documentary. Um, Maybe shifting a little bit now to kind of like more of his playing career and things like that. Like your brother once again famous recluse across the league, which I thought was the coolest thing to kind of see this kind of rejection of that. But what did you think the media got wrong about him and coverage of his playing career?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, you know, people, or how should I say it? I think a person in Timmy's position so early being successful, you want to put them in a box like, oh, 10 years ago, that person that was successful like that and did those things, oh, he must be just like it. Let's get him with this style that's not Timmy's style. It's not an island lifestyle. And I think he didn't go the other way, but I think as the media was coming this way, he was like kept turning the wheel this way. And so they never actually got closer together because they couldn't believe his, again, like a quiet leader, a simple person, like our father of few words. Like, and that's what I want people to see in the film also, is like how, in Timmy's words, they're simple, they're powerful, they're strong statements. But I think back to your media, like how they got it wrong was just, and even, he learned a lot from Pop all those years, of course. Timmy and Pop were almost given the same answers sometimes in a way. You ask a question that's a little, ask great questions. Um, so it was a little bit of, how do you get on the inside? But there was no inside. Timmy's what you see, how he is, the bank shot master. It's simple and effective, and you're gonna see him do it again and again and again because it's successful. He loves competition. He loves to win. And there were no other paths or branches on the tree. It was a very thinly branched tree of like family, basketball, competitiveness, success, just help others. And that's kind of an island life, maybe mentality in a way of how simple it should be without flash play or drama or flash off court. One line Timmy always said was just like, I just show up for the game. Like, I win. I want to come and win. I'll be there at the right time. I play. I want to win, and I'll walk away from my job and be successful. No drama.
Yeah, one thing that was very apparent in the doc is, look, you don't get to be as successful in that type of sustained success unless you're an ultra competitive person. That's just the way it was. And he brings it up. He brings up being an adrenaline junkie. And then you cut to the motocross of him going on the desert. I was like, man, how cool would that be if you had a motorcycle with Tim Duncan? But I have a question for you as his brother, though. What have you beaten Tim in, and what was his reaction when he lost? Because I know you've gotten him on something before.
There's the competitiveness in both of us, of course. So there's always this subtle, nice. Okay, he's a great video gamer. I'm fine, but he like takes it to the next level. I do a lot of like longer distance endurance sports. He has a small court to run back and forth on. I can just run forever or something. I'm a motorcycle global adventure junkie. I've taken, probably 1 million miles of motorcycle trips across Africa, South America, big adventures for projects or just personal adventure. But, we're always, even if it's in the gym together on the different equipment or what's your score, I mean, we're daily tracking each other of who's doing what. So it's always like, how did you do that score? What? Phenomenal. On the bike or the bike ride or things like that. We're just it's a constant great, it elevates us, but then just keeps us real because it's again authentic. And we really have that kind of bond we always have from bodyboarding in St. Croix, of just like finding the right wave and having fun. So that's it. It's a great fun life, that way between us.
And I mean, that does sound like a lot of fun, especially with the amount of motifs that you had around water in this, and just one beautiful B-roll footage. I mean, this was like just such a nice like vibe. And then I saw your work that you do with Survivor. Um, Something that kind of came up as I was watching it and thinking about between the role that water has played, not just in island life, but also in Tim's life, was this Bruce Lee quote. Are you familiar with the Bruce Lee quote on water? Just it's be like water making its way through cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around or through it. If nothing stays within you rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle and it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. I don't know if you were kind of thinking that as you were doing it, but that was like the first thing I thought about. And maybe my question is, as Tim is, moved into, post basketball life, what is he forming himself around? How is he being like water now?
That's a great question and great observation. So yeah, the water element, obviously you live in an island surrounded by water. And then obviously a bit of life, his life, his life in water, our lives in water back home, and then a bit of his style. It's always, there is maximum amount of adaptability that I think, living on an island you must have. Is it during a hurricane? Is it during family and friends, helping them? How do you adapt? How do you be flexible? And Timmy's constantly, we're being flexible to be successful also. I saw in Timmy's, career through the Spurs, it was, oh, you have a new teammate. Well, how are we going to weave our way around, be it like a water metaphor, to get that new teammate? Are they going to get into the mix, into the flow, into the success of how to win a championship? I mean, like they crescendoed those last years. It was phenomenal. They say there's never been that kind of passing and that kind of fluidity in a team. And visually filming it was magical because you never knew where things were happening or going. And Timmy in his life today, of how he does reach out in more secret giving ways or secret ways of offering and helping. He doesn't want accolades. He doesn't want to show up for the final whatever of the announcement. He's just like, he gives in a subtle secret way, which is, a beautiful thing. And your metaphor with Bruce Lee is exactly the way I think maybe living an islander life is, or how he lives his life of adjusting hourly, being flexible. It'll work itself out. We'll figure this out, as water does in a way. And you're right on by, his path is always very flexible to finding the way of success or to help others. No, it's a great, great quote and metaphor. And also, like, Timmy and I had talked about that quote a bit. And I think his elevated passion was even about this crow movie scene. He has crows that live around his house that love it. And it's an amazing metaphor in his life of this kind of passion that I was like, this is amazing. I have to put this in the film to, like, no big surprise in a way, but in another way of like, wow, that's important to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're kind of nearing the end here, Scott, but was there anything that you really wanted to include in the film, but just like didn't, make the final cut? Any like specific story or anything like that?
Thank you. Yeah, there were. I mean, the film was probably 4.5 hours long at one point because it was just. I wanted it to be a visual, poetic story. Number one, I wanted it to show Timmy in the individual way he lives his life, and he is. I wanted Timmy's voice to be heard. How many hours of Timmy do you want to listen to talk? You know, so there was a shaping time of it, and I wanted to represent a balance in the film of not just his journey, just a balance of different kind of nuances of his life, our life, family life, his Spurs life. So it kind of came down to that of there wasn't anything that was um, like a big pillar moment of somewhere or anything, you know. I just kind of brought it down in a comfortable way that it's an enjoyable, you know, you're seeing a home video, you're reading a diary story that has enough information about someone's life, past life, character's story. But the other few hours that you know got cut out, it was just extended visual story of maybe some island time as well. Of why is he like the way he is? Well, this is why. To make sure people could understand the pace and what it was like coming from an island, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife and I actually went to Dominica for our honeymoon, so I feel like I got like a real taste of like that Caribbean island life. It was amazing. Um, I mean, your brother says at the end, and there's this great cut where you're like asking him if he's gonna watch it, and he starts laughing, and then you got that great still. There's so many great like black and white still shots. So has Tim seen it yet?
No, he's not watched it yet because his key line is true. He's like, I trust you. And just like, you know, our father, just let yourself go, live life, do the right thing. See, I mean, he gave me, and we from the footage we saved or his home videos. I mean, he gave me everything, so he understood the open door. Here's the key to the chest, you know, of all of these home videos or things like that he was keeping personal. And so again, he trusts me, and he knows our island core roots for how I want to represent the film and represent him. And when he does watch it, which he will, he said he will, you know, but again, he's, after he retired, he's still evolving. He's understanding a lot was going on just inside of his career, but with the family and the time. And, you know, it's an intense life of being such a high level athlete those years and winning. So he will watch, and I'm excited for him.
Nice. I have one more quick question for you, and I do a disjustice to this if I didn't include the quote of the movie of the film: "Good, better, best. Never let it rest till the good is better and the better is best." So, to just finish this off, between Scott, you and your brother Timmy, what are you working on right now to be best?
I think every day, like I said, we challenge ourselves, maybe athletically or competitively. We you know look to that. We always look to what else can we elevate or do in say Croix back home or work with people on situations there. A lot of our kids, meaning family kids that have been growing up now or reaching more of a teenage age. We're always helping the family, the kids of the family, my sister's kids, you know, so I'm really focusing on, and we're helping all of the kids between 8 and 16, 17. His daughter is 18 now, maybe his daughter. So just supporting the whole tribe, and just constantly daily I'm in touch with all the kids and all the family and extended family, and just, you know, making sure everyone is, you know, living the mantra that we felt and lived from our dad saying that line, you know, and just feeling it.
Amazing. Scott, thank you so much for your time today, for coming on, our podcast and providing these insights. I hope people go out there and are able to see the film. It's going to be premiering at the Austin Film Festival, October 28th, I believe. Scott, for people who can't make it to the festival, what are some other ways that they'll be able to see it?
Yeah, we're working on the possible distribution with many possible places. So I think it's, again, it's like there was no, oh, I have to finish the film at this date. No, Timmy's only making one film. So there was no like, we have to hurry and get it done. No, this is going to be timeless. The film will be timeless. And I think the release for the globe to see, like, Timmy's journey and career will be timeless. So slow and steady, like Timmy's play, like our life. And it will get out there. And I hope everyone can see it and enjoy it, share what we've done together.
Amazing again. Thank you guys so much for being here. Scott, you did such a great job with this film. I know we're running a little over, so really appreciate the time today. Good luck with distribution on this, and have a great day promoting it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, Aaron. Appreciate you.
Likewise. Thanks, Scott. Peace, man.
Bye.